What's up, folks? How y'all doing? It's your boy Brandon Bravon Towns. Just doing a little review, a little Week 8 review, a wrap up for the NFL. Kind of like I'm not gonna say a Sports Plus Life quickie because I might be a few minutes, but you get the point. Hope everybody's having a good day. You know, it's the day before Election Day. Go out and vote, 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 vote. Anyway, let's see. We had some games. We still have the Monday night game tonight between Tampa Bay and New York. I'm going to talk some football. And to those of you who don't think I know football, it's all good. Sit, listen, and get an education anyway. Well, I've already talked about on my podcast the Atlanta-Carolina game. Atlanta winning 25-17. Me actually being shocked because Atlanta finds so many ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. You know, I was just kind of waiting to see if that would happen again, but it didn't. I believe that Atlanta has a lot of talent. They were my dark horse team for the NFC. I actually see them actually making a run, not necessarily making the playoffs, being 2-6, but I actually have them before the season is over with. I actually have them beating Tampa Bay and New Orleans at least once. I have them beating both of them at least once. There's too much talent on that team. They can score. They can play with anybody. They can score with anybody. Defense is something to be desired, but their offense, and Julio was starting to smoke. You know, he kind of had a slow start, a little injuries, but he seems healthy now, and he's starting to smoke. Now, to the Sunday games, New England is in trouble. They're officially in trouble. The Patriots lost to the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, Cam fumbled trying to scramble. You know, they were in field goal range, but they lost to Buffalo 24-21. I mean, in a game where, you know, the Bills haven't really done anything to knock anybody's socks off for about the last 4 weeks, to be honest with you. Ever since Brett Favre said that Josh Allen was the next Tom Brady, Josh Allen hasn't really played well. But like Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are. They are 6-2. They right now are a game and a half up in the AFC East. It looks like the 20-year reign of the New England Patriots is going to come to an end, even though during that 20-year time period between Brady and Belichick, which is amazing if you think about it, only 2 teams won the division during that time period. During that time period from 2001 to 2019. So 19 seasons, if you will. Only 2 teams won the division other than the Patriots. That was in 2002 when the New York Jets won the division. And then 2008, the year Brady got hurt, the Miami Dolphins won the division. Buffalo Bills haven't won the division since 1995. And they made a real solid statement as far as winning that division. Now, right now, do I see Buffalo being a threat legitimately to go to the Super Bowl? I mean, if you're 6-2, and you know you right now you would at least host the playoff game, I could say that you're a contender because right now you'd be a playoff team. But do I see them as a threat to Kansas City? No. We saw how that played out a couple weeks ago. Do I see them beating Pittsburgh? No. Do I see them beating Baltimore? No. Nah. Can't necessarily say I see that. Bengals and the Titans played yesterday. Is Ryan Tannehill starting to become the Ryan Tannehill we knew and loved in Miami? Because they lost. The Titans lost one. They've started out 5-0. They've lost their last 2. Joe Burrow, I wasn't completely sold on Joe Burrow coming out of LSU, but I was wrong because I saw that one good season. Okay, one good year. I mean, even though it was the greatest single season a quarterback has ever played in college football, I'm like 1 year. Look at Dwayne Haskins in Washington. 1 year, and now he's reportedly on the trading block. But Burrow can play. They just traded Carlos Dunlap to Seattle. I don't think Dunlap played yesterday. That's a big move for Seattle. But they beat the Titans 31-20. And if you're Tennessee, you know, 2 weeks ago you were seen as possibly the best team in football, or at least one of the most complete teams, because they are very well coached. But what I have seen is they have not played well the last 3 games, and they've lost 2 of them. They didn't play well. They should have lost to Houston. Remember, they should have lost to Houston. Romeo Crennel decides to go for 2 when you're up 7 to put the game away, instead of kicking an extra point and making Tennessee drive to score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. I'm not saying they wouldn't have done it, but the Texans had them on the ropes. But they found a way to come back and win that game. They lose to the Steelers, and they got dominated yesterday. It was 31-20. Cincinnati dominated them yesterday. So there's questions about Tennessee, and now they're in a dogfight for their division. I'll get into that in a minute. Cleveland losing to Vegas yesterday. It was an ugly day. Neither quarterback looked great. I mean, I don't even think either quarterback passed for 150 yards. Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. But the Raiders got a sneaky win. They get wins when you don't expect them to. I had Cleveland winning this game. Raiders are now 4-3. Cleveland is now 5-3. I'm gonna tell you, if I told a Cleveland Browns fan that at the midseason point your team would be 5-3, I think any Browns fan would take it. Considering what their recent history has been, I think any Browns fan would take that in a heartbeat. I believe they would take it to the bank. But so yeah, like I said, 16-6, and you can't put all of it on Baker Mayfield, because I saw a lot of passes dropped. They had a lot of drop passes. Landry dropping the touchdown. Njoku on a key 3rd and 8 when they're driving to try to take the lead. Ball hits him right in his chest, and he had room to run. Drops it. You know, and that's why I don't hear anybody killing Baker Mayfield today because they lost, because there were a lot of drops. Baker Mayfield put a lot of passes on the money that their players just didn't come up with. Next game, Colts at Detroit. The Colts beat the Lions 41-21. It's the most Detroit shit ever. You know, Detroit was coming in the game 3-3. Whenever you have a little hope, a little expectation for the Detroit Lions, they lay an egg, they let you down. They simply let you down. Even though Matthew Stafford threw for 336 yards. And the Colts, and this is what trips me out about the Colts. A couple of weeks ago, I was hearing people say, maybe it's time to bench Phillip Rivers and go back to Jacoby Brissett. I'm like, what? Like, people overreact so much. I'm like, this was still a 4-2 team. And Phillip Rivers, to me, doesn't look as shot as people say that he looks. No, Drew Brees looks shot. Phillip Rivers doesn't yet look shot. He's always had a weird throwing motion. He's never had the most powerful arm in the world, but he's got a good supporting cast around him. They have a really good defense. And the Colts are 5-2. Like I said, now the Titans are in a dogfight because they're tied with Indy. And that, for the AFC South, that appears to be a 2-team race between the Colts and Tennessee. Next game, please. Oh, one of the upsets of the day, if not the upset of the day. The Vikings went into Lambeau Field and beat the Packers. I don't know what's been going on with Green Bay the last couple of weeks. They're coming off of a bye week after they lost to Tampa. So they're coming off of a bye week, and Dalvin Cook had 4 touchdowns. Green Bay's run defense was an absolute embarrassment. Dalvin Cook ran for 163 yards and 4 touchdowns. And now the Packers find themselves once 5-0. Now they're 5-2. They've lost their last 2. The trade deadline is tomorrow. Everybody's saying that they need to make a trade, some type of trade for one, that they need another skill position player, another receiver to go with Devontae Adams. I've heard Will Fuller's name floated out there, but also something that has to do with some defense. because the Vikings aren't going anywhere. That was a good win for, I guess, for team morale, but the Vikings aren't going anywhere. They're 2-5. The NFC is too top heavy. I'd give the Falcons a better chance of making a run than I do the Vikings. New York versus Kansas City. Kansas City did what they were supposed to do. For Vegas bettors, I know they were happy because a lot of people, myself included, thought that Kansas City was going to be just out of focus enough to where the Jets could cover the spread. Not lose the game, but to where the Jets cover the spread. No, they came out and they kicked the shit out of the Jets like they were supposed to. It was, the Jets were trying, at least in the first half. There was effort. In the second half, it was just, no. Mahomes, 5 touchdown passes. So 35-9. Kansas City is just doing what Kansas City does. Rams and Dolphins, the debut of Tua at starting quarterback for Miami. Tua didn't really do anything. He didn't really have to. Then this was another upset, not as big as the Vikings beating the Packers, because the Dolphins actually have been playing really good football, which is why people were surprised that Ryan Fitzpatrick got benched for Tua. And it continued. Miami's defense is legit. Miami's legit. I'm straight up. Miami is legit. I think for them to get into the playoffs, I think they would have to win their division. But they're 4-3. They're 4-3. Tua had a touchdown pass. Jared Goff looked bad. He did. He looked bad. And then I had to remember, damn, who's Miami's coach? Brian Flores. Who was the defensive coordinator? I know this was a lot of Belichick, but who was the defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when the Rams were held to 3 points by the Patriots? Brian Flores. So he made Jared Goff just look bad. They did. They really, they scored on defense. They scored on special teams. Miami's coming, y'all. If Tua can be what they think Tua can be, you're going to see a lot of battles between the Dolphins and the Bills for supremacy in that division. And the Dolphins won 28-17. One of the key matchups of the day, which was the key matchup of the day, was Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Pittsburgh came from behind to beat Baltimore 28-24. Lamar Jackson had 208 yards passing. He had a couple of turnovers. Everybody's ready to pounce on Lamar Jackson anytime he loses a big game because they're trying to say now, oh, well, he can't win the big one. He can't win the big one. People need to really ease up on Lamar Jackson. For real. Because they're saying, oh, he can't throw the ball, blase, blase. People need to ease up on Lamar Jackson. The Ravens dominated the Steelers in every which way, but somehow lost the game. It happens sometimes. The Ravens are 5-2. The Steelers remain undefeated. It was a great game. The Steelers and Ravens is still the best rivalry in football. But while people are saying Lamar Jackson can't win the big game, this is his 3rd season. He became the starter midway through his rookie year. And, of course, he won MVP last year. And mind you, he's 23 years old. Peyton Manning did not win his first playoff game until his 6th year in the league. Peyton Manning, who is probably the greatest regular season quarterback ever. So we're looking at Lamar Jackson, well, not me, but it's, several people who want to say that Lamar Jackson isn't clutch. Now, what I will say is this. They need to get more receivers around him, because when the Ravens fall behind in a hurry-up offense, that's not their strong suit. It's not. They need to get some better weapons. Like I said, I expect Dez Bryant to be playing in about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I definitely think Dez Bryant will be there when the Steelers and Ravens play again Thanksgiving night. Hell of a way to end Thanksgiving, because nobody's gonna give a damn about the Detroit game. Nobody's gonna give a damn about the Cowboys game. So Pittsburgh and Baltimore Thanksgiving night. Oh yeah. But good win for the Steelers. They stay undefeated. Now, do I think Pittsburgh is the best team in football? No, I don't. I don't think Pittsburgh is better than Kansas City. I don't think Pittsburgh is better than Seattle. I just don't. Now, they're positioning themselves to where if you look at the Steelers' schedule, they could very well make a run at being undefeated. But I don't think that if Pittsburgh goes undefeated, I don't think it'll be because they're necessarily dominating everybody, and because now everybody wants to say, well, should you go for it or should you rest players? What I'm saying is Pittsburgh may have to come close to going undefeated to get the number 1 seed and get the bye week, because the Kansas City Chiefs are right on their ass. The Kansas City Chiefs are they're 6-1 or 7-1. I believe they're 7-1. So it's something that Pittsburgh may have to, and their schedule says that it's possible. I mean, their game next week they're at Dallas. Dallas is neck and neck with the Jets for the worst team in the league. It just is what it is. And I know Cowboy fans who've been coming at my neck, especially all of the feathers that I ruffled last week. I don't give a damn. Saying I don't know football. Nigga, please. But, I mean, it is what it is. But, honestly, Pittsburgh goes to Dallas. They're going to win that game. If they don't win that game, it's because of lack of focus. Like I said, Dallas is neck and neck with the New York Jets as the worst team in football right now. Then they have the Bengals. That's going to be tougher than people think because Joe Burrow is really good. But I still think they should win that game. Then they're at Jacksonville. They have the Thanksgiving game. They have the Thanksgiving Day game against Baltimore. Then they're home. That's at home. Then they're home to the D.C. Dickich, a.k.a. Washington. They're at Buffalo. That's a game that could present some challenges. At Cincinnati versus the Colts. That's going to be a sneaky big game. At Cleveland. And let's see. Who do they finish off against? No, that's it. Their last game is at Cleveland. So you can possibly make the case that Pittsburgh could go undefeated. I don't think they will, but I think they'll come. They're going to need to be damn near perfect every game because you're playing because of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because of the Chiefs. And let's see. So they won that game. Denver, my Broncos, you see I'm decked out in my Bronco gear. I was cussing Drew Lock out the first 3 quarters of our game against the Chargers. I really was. I was cussing him out so blatantly. You see this glass right here? I was ready to throw it. But we came back from 21 points down, and we beat the Los Angeles Chargers, who are damn near just as good as the Falcons at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And as much as I've bitched about my Broncos, we have won 3 of our last 4 games. We have. We started out 0-3. Now we're 3-4. So we won on the very last play of the game. Touchdown catch by KJ Hamler. His first career touchdown's a game winner. Do I expect that to springboard us into a playoff run? I don't. I'm a diehard Denver fan, but I'm a realist. I don't. I actually think we'll lose next week to the Falcons. I actually really do. But hey, good win. New Orleans and Chicago, that was the late game of the day. Yo, Drew Brees is shot. Straight up. I know they don't have Michael Thomas, but Drew Brees doesn't throw anything more than the deepest pass Drew Brees throws now is maybe 20 yards. And I mean, they didn't have Michael Thomas. They didn't have Emmanuel Sanders. Good job of them going into Chicago and beating the Bears, who were 5-2 at the time. And New Orleans currently sits in first place because, Tampa Bay plays tonight. But Drew Brees, this is Drew Brees' last season. Trust me when I tell you. I don't give a damn what happens. This is it for Drew Brees. He has no arm strength anymore. He's still accurate, but I have not seen him throw a deep pass in a minute. I just don't think he has it. They're winning with schemes. They have good players. They have an all-around good football team. I said that I thought New Orleans would come out at the beginning of the season, that New Orleans would possibly come out and go to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but right now, what I'm seeing, they'll make the playoffs. They're a good team. They may even still win that division, even though Tampa Bay is stacking the deck. They are stacking the deck. But Drew Brees is done. Done. Now, maybe he can have happen to him what happened to Peyton Manning his last year when the defense took him to a championship. But New Orleans defense this year, they're okay, but they ain't the 2015 Broncos. No, that's a legendary defense. But they did win, be that as it may. Next game, San Francisco, Seattle. Seattle got back to their winning ways. Russell Wilson had 4 touchdown passes. DK Metcalf. Oh my God. If Calvin Johnson spliced his DNA with T.O., you get DK Metcalf. That dude is ridiculous. Tyler Lockett is ridiculous too. And I'm not trying to be funny. Unless my Denver Broncos get crazy hot, the Super Bowl I want to see is Seattle versus Kansas City. That's what I want to see. San Francisco, Garoppolo and Kittle left with injuries. Every time I'm ready to count San Francisco out, they come back and have a hell of a game. But their injuries have just gotten them this year. That's just bad luck. And the Sunday night game was just god-awful to watch. Dallas and Philadelphia. Philadelphia won 23-9. Like I said, Dallas is maybe is neck and neck with the Jets for the worst team in football. But Carson Wentz played horrible. Good Lord, he played like trash. He's lucky they played the Cowboys. Any other team they played, they'd have lost. So, I mean, and that's real shit. I mean, I'm an objective fan. I have nothing but love. I love the Eagles. Not as much as my Broncos, but I love the Eagles. And Carson Wentz is playing like straight garbage. They just played a more garbage team. It just is what it is. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap that up. So, I'll do a podcast probably tomorrow. But again, holla at your boy. Team got it done. I'll see y'all in a bit.